Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Gentleman's Talk. Your host here, James Dean Littlejohn. The dulcet tones of James Dean Littlejohn are playing tunes on the hairs of your ears on a fine hump day. We are on Wednesday hump day, an unusual day for me to do a podcast, but I'm here because a new inspiration. Not even a new inspiration. I wouldn't say it's a new inspiration. I would say it's a reinvigoration of spirit has come across my path, and it's amazing. This is the beauty of social media, and it's actually, like I said, it starts to work. But I'm here on a Wednesday because there's actually things to talk about. There's some good and bad, and you're thinking, Christ, James, you know, you didn't work Monday. It was Bank Holiday Monday. You've only been in work Tuesday and Wednesday. You're talking to us on Wednesday night, and already you've got something that crops up with a bad thing. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I will get to that. But however, I just want to check in. How the devil are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're remaining positive. Is that just? I don't know whether that's just a little bit keto too loud. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get the sound right. It's weird. It's background noise, but I like the background noise because I hear it in my ears. And I've got these headphones, so I hear myself talking. It's really weird when you start. Yeah, we're back on. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, sorry about that. Messing around. But how the devil are you? Yes, I don't know. It's just, you want to make sure that you're all going through life. Like I said, you know, it's really important we all check in on each other from time to time. And this is my platform to do that. So I hope you're okay. I really do. I hope you're listening to this and you've got some spirit in you. You've got some vigor, because ultimately this whole thing, everything that I do about this is inherently, you could look at it as it comes from a dark place. The reason I've started this podcast, although it's full of a lot of positivity now, it started in a dark place. It started in I don't know, it was just, I was fucked off with life. And it's very easy to forget that. You've listened to me now for fucking 200 odd podcasts, which is commendable on you listening, for starters, and second of all, for me talking that long. It clearly shows. Everyone says you like talking. I'm like, nah, don't really. I like being quiet. I fucking love talking. I do love talking. I love the sound of my own voice. But here I am, you know, and ultimately, it's very easy to forget on where I am now and where I started. And when you've listened to this, I hope you've listened back. And you know, I've got some great listeners that have listened from the start. I've got some super amazing friends that have supported me all the way through this, and I'm finding new friends as I go along. So it's a really positive experience. But ultimately, we all need to remember that for you to listen to this, then perhaps there's a reason why you're listening to this, trying to get some sort of direction in life. Maybe you're trying to understand a bit about yourself. Maybe it's just listening and understanding that you're not the only one that's going through this, and there is plenty of people that go through this. So ultimately, we can all carry on being part of that statistic where we get through this together, and not be that fucking horrendous stat that I always talk about of the male suicides. And that's ultimately what this is about. Is you're either listening to this because, you know, you're intrigued, you like the sound of my voice, maybe, or maybe you listen to get something out of it. I don't know, but hopefully it's all positive. But at the same time, and I must underpin that with the fact that I started this, you know, January 2022. And I was in a fucking horrible place. I was 14 days away from my third suicide attempt. And that's the crux of that. This is why this is so important to me. This is why this is so important to you. Know that I'm helping. Know that I'm there. Know that there's people going through this. Maybe it is worse. Maybe you feel it's worse. Maybe you've got it worse. I don't know. I've been particularly unlucky, I think, in my life. But at the same time, I acknowledge that I bring a lot of my unluckiness on myself because of just my personality, and I do challenge myself all the time, so I understand that. But there is other things that have curveball me through my life, you know. So, but if I can get through that, and I can talk to you openly about my problems, because irrelevant of what you're listening to and why you're listening. Are you listening because you're a friend of mine? Are you listening because you're intrigued? Whatever. Or are you listening because you're like, fuck, this guy's interesting because he's had a fucking crazy life? I don't know. Whatever it is, the whole purpose of this is driven around positivity. And if I can get through that, talk to you openly about my personal life in a very public way, to try and raise awareness of men's mental health, because irrelevant of the whole story, I do like to talk about myself, and I do like to try crazy things, do crazy things, and I like to explore life. I really fucking do. It's becoming so much of an urge to explore life as it's every 6 months I get this I had nothing for fucking years. Obviously I was massively depressed. The downside to one of the downsides, but I'm not going to call it a downside because that would be very unfair of me, but what it is, a downside to you perking up in life. And when I say downside, I mean it in you listen to the whole story. So the downside aspect is the fact that when you start picking yourself back up, you start trying to help people, you still go through life, but you're instilling coping mechanisms. I've instilled, all sorts. I don't get it right all the time. Christ, I'm human being. Fuck, I'm not perfect. But I try to always steer on the track. The more I talk about it, the more I listen, the more I research, the more I understand, the more that I try to stay on track. That's the important bit. And if I do slip off track and go a bit quiet, it's not for long lengths. It's not for stupid periods. And for me, that's the purpose of this, is to stay on that track. And if I can do that after all of this, then so can you. So let's start raising the statistic of men, winning. Do you know what I mean? Let's raise that up there. Let's try and get rid of that suicide attempt rate. We don't need that, because life isn't that bad. And I know we're all going through struggles. Everybody feels struggles all the time. We do. And some are worse than others. I get that. But if we adopt the coping mechanisms, and we adopt the ethos that I'm talking about on a constant basis, then maybe we can start winning this as a team. And ultimately, that's what it's about. And that's why I talk all the time about nurturing and the right people around you. And I've got two stories, actually, that are going to feed straight into that, actually. And they're double-edged sword. It's one, literally a good and a bad story on the back of having the right people around you. Now, I'll give you most people say give me the bad news first. And I think that's great, because actually I will do that, because then that'll feed in a little bit. So the bad news is I met a very toxic, and I was talking about this in my last podcast. And the reason I'm going to talk about this is because this is what you're up against in life. It never ends. Like, I can come home and I can have a fucking disgruntlement, shall we say, with my fucking wife, or I can have an argument with my kids, or just something can go wrong, or I fucking break something, or do you know what I mean? I don't do something right. Like, there's all these factors we get in life. The car might break down and all that sort of stuff. And then we got all these fucking factors that we go through in life. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, you could switch the TV on and you don't know if you're switching that TV on for the fucking last time. Do you know what I mean? You never know that. You live life on the fucking edge. That one time you press that button, I've done it before. I used a microwave. It's fucking been fine. And then one day just went, fuck off, mate. And started sparking. I was like, that guy's literally retired. He's had a fucking titsful. He's had enough. He's rung that fucking ding ding bell enough times. Pull the pizzas out, fat boy, and get some proper cooking on the go. See what I mean? We live life that. You don't know when that fucking button's going to be pressed. So we live through that all the time. And this is the whole ethos that we're trying to instill, and we're trying to nurture and looking after ourselves. Because at the end of the day, if we've got to look after ourselves. We've got to kind of work together as a team. And anyway, so you deal with all that, and then you go into work, and then we all know we've got toxic people in work. However, this was like a different level of toxicity. This was like a toxicity, and I'm getting better at saying that, that I learned that was unbelievable. So I was on a meeting yesterday, and I've been working tirelessly in the background of my job. As you know, I'm fucking fully dedicated to my job. I love my fucking job in certain sense, safety. It doesn't matter what my job is, actually. If I'm enjoying the job, I really fucking like the job. I'll get stuck in, and I'll try to look at innovative ideas, and I try to accelerate things. And one of the things that was presented with me 7 months ago now, was we've been trying for fucking years to get, and it's going to sound a bit geeky, so bear with me, but there's a purpose to all of this, obviously. We need an asbestos register. We really want it live, so everyone can get hold of it, and we can get all the data on, and we need to work with Socotech, who's the primary contractor at the time, and others are available. And, you need to work with them, and we want to start getting this, and we want to start building this, and we want to go digital so it's accessible and have a printable version. Well, let's cast our mind forward now, 6 months. I've done all that and more. I've got it all ready. It's ready to be delivered in terms of I've worked every single fucking Friday. I have a 2-hour meeting to talk about this, to get it fine fucking tuned. It's never been done. I was like, I'll fucking do that. I'm going to get that, and it's going to be the best things in sliced bread. Anyway, I was on a meeting yesterday to talk about the stuff that was due for the big meeting today. So I had a big meeting, 3 hours it went on for. And I needed my update for then. So it was a little presentation yesterday, or a little pre-inspection, just to see what we were delivering. And I mentioned it. I was like, I'm doing this and this and this, and the sort of senior leadership team, were like, fucking brilliant, mate. Wow, we've been asking for that for fucking years. I've been in this site for 15 years, and we've been asking for that, and you've done it in 6 months. And I was like, yeah, just, it's asking the right people, getting the right things done, showing the right importance. And also, I've educated myself a lot to be able to talk the right talk to the right people. And also, I think it's just the way I come across. I will big my head up. I do like to try and manipulate people in a nice way, let's do this for the greater good and all that jazz. Anyway, so cast your mind back. So that's positive news. Great. I'm going to this fucking meeting with all the heads of establishment. I'm going to sit in front of like 40 fucking people, which don't sound like a lot, but these are 40 head people, and I'm going to present my stuff, my findings, what have I been up to. I did that, and I was ready, I was poised. One of the guys, and this is a man, was in the meeting yesterday with me. He came to the fucking meeting, did his presentation, and then proceeded, and I'm going to tell you what he fucking said to me. You perk your fucking ears up for this. He said, James, there's 40 people, so there's about 5 Jameses on this fucking call. James, sorry, I think I'm stealing your sandwiches here. And then proceeded to say, he said, but I'm not sure if you told me in a meeting the other day or I was talking about it in a meeting the other day. The meeting was the day before, and this fucking spanner then opened his fucking mouth and literally spewed out word for word what I was doing, but his was caveated with, this is what we're going to the primary contractor with to deliver. And I was like, have you just fucking sat there and fucking bounced me so hard under the bus? So I proceeded I'm quite gobby. I don't give a fuck who people are. I'm not one of these fucking people that go, oh, he's a rank such as... I don't fucking care, mate. What's his name? Dave, can we do this or not? Or, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I'll talk to anybody. I've gone to fucking senior people before. I went to senior people. I went to a thing. My dad was well and truly due a fucking reward, an in-year reward for what he did. And he wasn't willing to press it. I went straight to the fucking head of establishment, straight to the horse's mouth, and I said, fucking Robin, wait, my dad needs a fucking bonus, mate. Do you want me to write the citation or do you want to fucking do it? He said, I've got a citation on my desk. I haven't authorised it yet. I said, well, double it and authorise it. And he doubled it and he authorised it. Because I was like, don't fuck around, mate. This is a guy that's committed, ex-serviceman, giving his fucking life to the fucking service. He is a dedicated army barmy. I always say that. And I like to give back a little bit. And I think he deserves that. He deserved that little spurt, that little fucking spirit giver, and I didn't have to do anything. And he didn't have to do anything. Anyway, so I digress. But this guy decided to fucking proceed to fucking say word for word. So I literally come off mute. I didn't even fucking put my hand up. You have to raise on Teams, raise the hand, because it's a bit of common courtesy. I wasn't even raising my fucking hand. I was off mute and I went, James, because his name's James as well, actually. Well, they call him Jim. I won't say his second name, but his real name's James. And this is why I stay James, because there's so many people that have transferred to Jim. It's now common muck. I'm like, fuck you. I'd rather be James, mate. That's how I fucking roll. Jimmy Dean, James Dean, James fucking Dean. You cannot say anything bad about James Dean. You know what I mean? Fuck you. So anyway, so I was sat there and I said, oh, James, I like the way, and I said this is what I said. I said, I like the way you've just literally delivered my speech from yesterday word for word to everybody here. But great work, mate. And then I went mute and he went really quiet. And then he went, yeah, I thought it was you, James. I was like, you didn't think I was going to fucking pipe up, buddy. Well, you're fucking speaking to the wrong buddy. You're talking to fucking gobshite Gary here, mate. I will fucking tell you. I will out you in front of every motherfucker if you make me feel an arsehole or you chuck me under the bus. I will fucking destroy you. So now, and then at the end of the thing, he goes, James, we'll have to let me know if I'll put in a diary insert for a working group to talk about this. I went, fucking decline, mate. Fucking Klein. You're getting none of my fucking stuff, mate. You bellend. So I'm dealing with that. And that's how much you can feel the passion in my voice of how much that fucking upset me. because I was like, what a cockwomble. In fact, I walked back, actually. I not walked back, I came back, and I spoke to my boss, and I told him about it, and he was like, I said he was a right fucking knob jockey. And he burst out into fucking tears. He burst out into tears, like tears of laughter. Because he was like, I haven't heard knob jockey and such. I was like, he's just a fucking knob jockey. And why am I getting shit on by him? And what gets me, he's my counterpart. So he does my exact same job in a different region for the same organisation. Does he not think that I've already cascaded that around everywhere? Because I wouldn't have gone to a meeting without going to all of my region. This is what I'm doing. I've been saying it for fucking months because I want the region to know. And then when it gets fucking bousted out, I'm like, fuck you. You wankers couldn't do this for years, mate. I just fucking rocked out my cock out, mate. Spuffing everywhere, you dirty whores. Anyway, got excited. Anyway, that's what I mean. And that's what I'm like. And that's what you're up against. So you go into work and getting shat on because you're doing a good job, trying to accelerate yourself, I'm literally dying to push to get promoted because that's where I want to sit. I want to sit at the fucking big table. I've worked hard enough to get there, and at the moment I'm still I'm still fucking down below. I'm still at the kids table. I'm not at the fucking adults table yet, and it's pissing me off a little bit. And then when you're doing good work, and then I go back and my boss goes, well, we need to lock down our SharePoint. I was like, no, mate, you need to fucking tell that prick to fuck off. Anyway. Obviously, you can't say that because there's etiquette in the organisation. But it's just, that's a mental state you're going up against. That somebody's incompetent at their fucking job and he's not doing a good job. And I come up with all these, every fucking week's positive as fuck because I'm like, we're getting results. And if you're not getting results, tell me so I can fucking go back and report back we're not getting results. I'm just open and honest. So anyway, so you caveat that. That's the bad thing. That's the bad thing about, that. But then we go into some good news stories about opening up and developing, in mental state. And that was looking at the right people. Because the reason I mentioned that story was because 3 or 4 months ago, we were chatting about collaborating, working together. We've got one fucking team, one focus. And then I was like, fine, mate. So I put in a diary insert like 3 months ago and he didn't turn up. And then he messaged me on fucking Skype and said, James, can we have a chat? I said, yeah, mate, when you are. Never got back to me. And I was like, well, you just chinned me off, mate. What the fuck are you doing? And now all of a sudden, because I've been working away properly, and he hasn't, because he's been fucking jacking it off in the back corner, little Tommy Tunkin in the corner, Tommy Tanker, and that's a frustrating bit. So his incompetence now, and now I'm like, well, I've got to now put more barriers up. I can't open up as much as I want, which I like, because when you open up to people and the right people, they help you, don't they? That's the whole purpose. That's what I'm trying to nurture here. Trying to explain to people by... Sorry, I got a bit of a sore throat. Anyway, there we go. We're back. So, I'm trying to nurture the right people around you, because there is a lot of toxic people. And I always say, and like I said to you the other day on my podcast, it's not always about having the wrong people or that person is the wrong person. Not always the case. Just means that you have a conflict of interest. You don't, or you're very similar, so you're naturally going to clash. If relaxed people are against relaxed people, they're quite chilled out. But if you've got two people that are, I call myself, and this I use this in the loose term, but I call myself an alpha male. That's status. That's the status I naturally obtain, and I don't mean alpha, like I'm not looking at it from an arrogant point of view, but from a, put it down in a basis. I do like to be at the forefront. I do like to know everything. I do like to be that, big person in the room. That's just a natural personality thing. And then obviously, that's the problem, is that hurts when I can't do that, which is what the mental health aspect does. But when you caveat that with this journey, this purpose, and finding the right people, that's not saying inherently they're the wrong people. They're just the wrong people for you, and that's why as I've got older, my friendship group has initially, I would say, shrunk, because I've realised I've filtered out the people that aren't really interested in me. They're only interested in the odd chat. So I treat them like that. I treat them like they are the odd chat or the odd catch up, or I treat them like it's just the way it is, So I've managed to triage, and this is the importance, and this is why I always draw around to this, is when you have the right people around you that are interested in you and succeeding properly with you, not for you or not against you, but with you, want to succeed with you, because strength's in numbers. In that, we've all said these. However, we've all decided in the modern day times that we want to silo ourselves, and we're all on this fucking rich hunt to try and get like filthy rich, and we're all thinking we can get filthy rich, when in actual fact, if you actually work as a team and don't have your end goal as being a millionaire, because the 1%ers that you see on TikTok and social media are showing they're succeeding, or you're getting the fake ones that come on and say such and such is succeeding, and then when you watch their content, they're just fucking basically they're modern day what do they call them? Homeless people. That's what people I see. I see a lot of people now on, and the way I categorize them is they're modern day homeless people. They sit in fake locations and they beg people from all around the world to fucking like and give them stars and all this fucking stuff. That's just modern day begging. You're not giving content. And even when you see these other ones, it's the big ones that you get. And there is a few big ones out there, but they're small. But if you concentrate on nurturing the right people around you and want the similar things, not to be filthy rich, to be comfortable, to know that you can have a house that's well and truly covered, a couple of cars on the drive. And I'm going to quote my friend in a minute, which I'm going to lead into. And he said to me, he just wants a house, a couple of cars on the drive, to be able to go out for the odd meal and go on holidays, 2 holidays a year. That's all he wants. Now, I think that's a reasonable, comfortable, enjoyable life, but not work massively fucking stupidly hard for it every God hours sends. God sends hours. He doesn't want that, but to succeed, to get to that point, even closer and even quicker, we work together. And inherently, that's what we all rely on. And it's actually crazy because, I'm a fucking nightmare for this. But you go on social media and I want people to fucking like and comment and rah, 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 and I say this and it boosts me because it boosts me. But that's not what it's about. It's about giving to other people. It's about giving back and hopefully receiving feedback. And that can come in a negative way, and there's going to fall into a little negative later. But for me, and that feeds into when I say nurturing the right people, I've got this friend, I've mentioned him a few times, Mark, and he's doing 10K for 10K. He's doing it for a full year. So he's raising awareness, raising money. Absolutely fantastic. It's really, really good what he's doing. And he's been engaging me, and we were chatting and stuff. And I'd say we were looking at doing some mental health projects for the artwork I was doing. And I mentioned how it's a little bit disappointing. I've mentioned it again actually tonight to my friend. Actually, I'm still really actually a little bit hurt that. I invested when I went to Pirate Grog, and we were having, and I will mention them because I am a bit disheartened from them. But I went to and from with them, and they sent me like 4 or 5 empty bottles with little dregs in the bottom that I actually discovered that's what they use for their taster sessions. So, it's already given away anyway and already paid for. So it wasn't like a receipt or anything, but that wasn't the purpose of it. The purpose of the end goal for that, for me, was to get recognition. So I didn't really care about the fact of what I invested in, etc. It does now hurt me because that was a big investment. It was a £70 investment on an advertising company, really, and I didn't get the advertising. It's almost like that's what it felt like. But then at the same time, I would have just appreciated a thank you. That would have just been nice to have, even if I was doing it via email, for fuck's sake. I didn't even want a personal thank you or a ring. It is not even a holding email to say, we're going to thank you some way or whatever. And anyway, so he felt that, and this guy Mark, we've been engaging through mental health, and he's actually he's another one of those great fucking people that he's listened to my podcast now from day dot. So from number 1 all the way through, he's done it while he does his 10K. So he says he listens to me when he walks. So yeah, good. Keep smashing it, buddy. Keep smashing it. And it just joins this little group of like really valuable people in my life, and I talk about them all the time. The people that listen to me, the people that hopefully I'm helping, that hopefully spread that word, and also, it's just good to sort of. I just enjoy the fact that they listen to me, and I'm making content that they enjoy, and that's obviously I always mention them: Bilster, Nelly, Kieran and Mark, and I've got other friends like Luke, and all these people around me. I've got Zippy as well, all these people that listen to me on a regular basis, that share, comment and like on my posts, just because that really helps. But I fed in with him, and he's reinvigorated a few things. He listened to me, and he's got a couple of contacts. So there's some good stuff coming on the horizon, which is going to pull me back into my artwork again, which I've really, really missed. And that's a mental health downer for me, because that's not what I've been able to do. And it's just, that's the depressing bit. But we're working together as a team to move forward. And I think that when you can tell when you're interested in the right people that are on the right path, that want the right things in life. They don't want to be millionaires, because I think it's just realistically unattainable, so let's not be let's try and get a realistic goal. I talk about realistic goals and accountability all the time. Let's make something achievable. Let's make something realistic together and work as a team to get that result. We can silo ourselves all day long, but it will take you 4 times as long to do something if you're doing it than if you were doing it as a team. And that's why we nurture. That's why I said my friendship group dropped from, where I was sat, where fucking hundreds and hundreds of people that I thought really liked me, and they probably did to a degree, but because we didn't leave on negatives, but you see them there, and you're like, why isn't he fucking commenting? I'll comment on his, and you do. You get it becomes a negative place. Social media inherently did that for me. And then I whittled it down, fucking shut it right down to just go, no, just family and fucking close friends. And then now, although my friendship group is growing with the more people I'm talking to the right people. And that's why I talk to the right people on a daily basis, because that for me is the part that I enjoy, because I'm getting something out of them in terms of friendship value and the dopamine high from learning about new things, right down to the fact that I'm hopefully going to be able to give back to them. And it's really important stuff. It's really important stuff to succeed in life. That's what we need to do. Absolutely. So I've had a couple of I've had one positive, one negative, really, from this side of the week, and it's only been fucking 2 days, so it's crazy. But they're the minefield, and again, I said, that's why I called it the mental health minefield, because it is. We don't realise these things are being chucked on ourselves all the time, and we're having to manage them. We're also, you've got to remember, as men, we're expected to provide, we're expected to protect. And these I don't really give a fuck what anyone fucking says. You are expected to do those. You are expected. If I go in my house and someone came through my fucking front door now, I would be expected to sort that fucking situation out. Yes, I've got a fucking giant white German Shepherd that will fuck them up for me. Granted, I've got a nice bit of support, but I'll chuck him back anyway, because I won't want him getting fucking hurt. I'd rather take... So men are naturally... That's why we're built to protect. Okay, yes, you've got a very diverse group that maybe won't fit the bill, but at the same time, you've got the overprotectors, So, but what I'm saying is that we're expected, and then we're expected to deliver. We're expected to succeed at work. We're expected to get promoted, because none of us expect our wives to get promoted, do they? If they come in and get promoted, if your wife's partner, girlfriend, whatever, if they came in and said they got promoted, you'd be like, oh, well done, darling. Yeah, no, and you're just like, fucking yeah, that's amazing. Yes, you get the. I'm not discrediting women in any way, shape or form. Equal pay, equal everything. I get that. But what I'm saying is there is no expectation from us as a gender to expect a female or a woman or whatever to do everything. We wouldn't expect them to protect. If they want to earn extra money, it bolsters our own money in most cases. But we're expected to do this. So we have these pressures in life. And that's a reality. I don't give a fuck. Yes, there's a small minority, and I'm probably... I'm going to generalise everybody. I don't mean it in a diverse... I'm talking about just real life from my point of view. I was expected to protect, succeed, lead. I'm expected to do all that, get promoted. If we're fucking short of money, I'm expected to pick up the fucking short case in the money. Irrelevant of whether I'm struggling or not, I'm like, I got to pick up the fucking money. And that's happened to me fucking 5 or 6 times in the last 6 months. Like, I'm short a little bit, can you sort it out? And you get that, and then you just have to bumble through, and I have to do something else. So I've gone and got a second job to try and sustain a bit of that flexibility, whilst my wife's business, because she's left a business to go and to build, left a thing to build her own business. I want her to succeed. So I'm like, well, take your time, do it properly. And I think that's what we do. However, we couldn't do that normally. So that's the pressures that we put on ourselves all the fucking time. So that's why we need to make sure that we look after ourselves. That's why it's a minefield. That's why it is, because we're expected to do all this. We're expected to provide the money. We're expected to fix the car if it fucking breaks down. Even if you're a woman now, and you haven't got, you would go to a man. You're not going to go to another woman. I don't give a fuck what you say. Even if it's your dad or your granddad or your uncle, you're going to go to a man to ask you to fix that problem. If a car breaks down, I'm not going to fucking ring my wife and go, car's broke down. Do you know what I mean? And you don't. oh, I've scratched the fucking car, or I've done this, or I've done that. How do we fix this? Is this fixable? You know, it's like the other day, put on a laptop, and it had been completely and utterly wiped. Bless my mother-in-law. It's a fucking lovely laptop. But she gave this laptop because she said, I'll just clean it up, ready. So she just did a system restore to hand it back because my third daughter needs a laptop. And when I say third daughter, that's 3 laptops I needed to buy for school. So I needed to get, I couldn't afford another fucking laptop, but, you know, so she kindly donated one to us. But she cleaned it for us, as in, like, restored it, and it came back and she went, it's got this error. And I was like, you've actually wiped the whole fucking hard drive. But I was expected the result. James will sort that. That's what my missus said. James will sort that. Bring it out. James will sort it. And I plugged it in and went, fucking, there's nothing sorting that, mate. There's no program on that. It's completely and utterly wiped. And it was. It needed a reinstall. And guess what the next question was? James, it's £55. Can you cover that? Like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. But you see, these are the little curveballs that we receive on a daily basis. So I've had a bad fucking day today. Yeah, at work with this fucking snake in the grass of my colleague, fucking trying to, you know, fucking steal my thunder. And then, but it's been bolstered with some good parts as well. You know, it's been bolstered with my mate who's offered me the support to try and get into this this company in where he lives. All will be revealed, I'm sure, if it goes ahead. But that's right, really positive. I'm just actually doing this podcast on the back of a fantastic fucking evening with my fucking bestie. We went and played snooker. I will say I kicked his fucking ass because he's going to listen to this. I'm going to go, fucking loser. Literally, no. We're doing this. I did kick his ass. But do you know what? It was a fucking amazing evening again. I loved it. And do you know what? This bit's made me smile. So we've been going there for 5 weeks now in a row. And it's become, and what I said to him tonight, I said, you know, how long does it take to become, you know, a learned habit? And he looked at me and I was like, you've not been listening to my podcast, have you? Then I realised he's got the fucking, the memory of a goldfish. So literally I was like, 12 weeks, mate, you know, come on, switch on. And we're at 5 weeks and it is becoming really, I remember the first couple of times it was like a bit of a forced event. It was like, we need to do this. It doesn't feel right doing this on a Wednesday night, but we need to do this. And we were going in and it was a bit of a bumble. We were in there for best an hour for the first couple of times. It was like just rattled through a couple of games and down to it didn't feel as warm as it should be because it was unnatural. We hadn't done this before. And then we got 5 weeks in now and I'm walking in, I'm setting the fucking snooker table up, I've got a pint on the table. I walked into the fucking the rec club. I fucking beeped my little card because I got my membership card, walked in and I said to the lady, I said, oh hi, how are you? And she's normally quite grumpy. And she went, oh hi, usual is it, James? And I was like, yes it is. Yes, it is. So I got my usual cherries and berries cider. So I said, see you later, love. And I fucking walked out the back, got the snooker table in. Kieran didn't get they don't know his name. But I said, it's because you're not fucking visible enough, mate. You got to talk to people. Anyway, I digress, don't I? But that's the positivity. I'm instilling these things in my life to make them better. Like I said, work-life balance, shut down, 4 o'clock, bosh, see you later. Told them today on the meeting, don't ever book me on a meeting on a Friday ever again. I don't fucking do meetings on Fridays because Fridays are my relaxed days. That's my work-life balance. Yes, I'm very luxurious to do that, but I work hard Monday to Thursday to compensate that. Until they bring these 4-day weeks in, there's fuck all I can do. So I have to build my flexi up to go fucking see ya. And if you book a meeting on my Friday, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. Book it Monday to Thursday because that's when you're going to get someone who fucking cares. If you speak to me on Friday, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be fucking angry. I'm not going to be in the mood and I'm not going to take any notes. And then you're going to ask me to fucking report it back and I'm going to go, on what? Was it a Friday? Fucking suck it. Do you know what I mean? So you best off this is how I work, mate. This is how I'm working now. Fucking take it or leave it. So you instill these coping mechanisms, which is what I do. You know, I'm trying to do that and I'm trying to raise my spirits. I'm trying to raise my positivity. I'm working with the right people that want to see me succeed. And like I said this to Neil. I said this to Mark. Neil. I don't even know where I got fucking Neil from. Because I was talking about Nelly. I was thinking of Nelly. I saw from Mark. I was chatting to Mark, and he said he proposed this to me. He said, "Oh mate, I've heard about you. I listened on your podcast, and this is a great thing about podcasts. He listens and he understands, and he says, oh, I know you like voice notes, so he fucking left me a voice note. How fucking amazing is that? Like all my fucking friends do. Left me a fucking voice note, and I was like, because I just feel the emotion in the voice, and I get it. I know it's very difficult for people to do. I've done this. I've voice note a lot of people, and a lot of people will like get back to me going, what the fuck are you doing, mate? You don't leave a voice note. I've had people literally go, I'm not as confident as you, mate. So, and I get it. And I leave video calls now. So I'm like, I've accelerated that. I'm leaving fucking video text messages. Nothing rude, nothing dodgy, don't worry. But anyway, he was messaging me, and he voice noted me, and he said, yeah, and we got this going, and he said, James, I don't want to step on your toes. I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I was like, no, mate. I said, I don't give a fuck. If you can work, because I like making the artwork. I don't like doing the fucking saley, chatty bit. I don't like that. I really don't. It's like, just let me get to know you, and I will design something around your fucking personality profile, or give me a couple of keywords, and I'll make something. But that's it. Then I don't want to fucking talk to you again. You'll get what I give you, and that is what you will like. That's who I am. That's why I do it, because I'm very confident in what I can do and achieve. It's going to look nice. But he collaborated, and he said, oh, mate, I'll do a collaboration piece with you. I mean, man, I'm all over that. I'm fucking chomping that up. Let's do it. Because if we can work together as a fucking team, then it makes it easier. Hence the reason why, some of you find the podcasts I do with the Billster when we do Banter Billy. They're fucking good podcasts because we bounce off each other, and he's a really good person to talk on the radio. So these are all fucking great things, and everybody gives that little bit, and all of you, I've got all these little I don't refer to them as a chess piece, but they are my little chess pieces. We're all playing as a fucking team to win, and that's the succession plan for me. Is all the people around me care at the moment. The small group of people I have around me care. They care about me, they care about succeeding, and I care about them, and I want them to succeed. And that's the important bit, is when you have that right little group, let's do it together, so we can be fucking rich and fucking happy at the end of it. If we can sit there on our fucking verandas, drinking a fucking glass of fucking gin, and go, hey, we got it, we're easy, what are you doing tomorrow, mate? Oh, I'm just gonna knock up a bit of art, mate, nice and fucking steady, just take it fucking easy, we'll have a good day, have another gin, and then sit by the fire in the evening, do you know what I mean? Playing some fucking fake poker or a bit of outdoor, that's it, that's the goal, innit? It's really, we work fucking hard to relax, stupidly as it sounds, but we have to do that. It's a rat race of life, but let's do it together. Anyway, I fucking dribbled on there, didn't I? So, but that's the importance of having the right people. And it feeds into a little bit, actually, what I want to fucking talk to you about, which is the title of the fucking topic, really, which is you need discipline. And the reason that's so important, and the reason I've brought this up today, is because, so I dropped off the wagon, so to speak, last week. I had a week of just eating unhealthy after 2 very good weeks of fasting. And when I was fasting, I was eating from the hours of 11 till 7 at night, and then nothing but water. And I know that it was water weight, I get that, but then I started to actually lose a little bit more of weight and fat. I felt healthier, I felt better. I started getting up a bit more with a spring in the fucking step. I felt nice, and then I just had a little bit of a lull. I had a little bit of a low spell, actually, and that's what it was referred to. And I was eating to get my dopamine, because that's what I do. I eat things and then I just get the dopamine, and then I get sad from overeating. It's that fucking stupid little cycle that we all go through. We've all been through. We've all overeaten, overindulged, or eaten something we shouldn't have done because we're not quite happy, but we get the dopamine rush and the sugar rush from it, so it feels fucking amazing. Well, that's what I was doing. That led into drinking, so I drank a bottle of fucking gin over the weekend, and I did recognise, I was like, James, you need to fucking step back, mate. You've lost your discipline here. And I'd lost my discipline. I'd lost what I'd had. I'd worked hard for 2 weeks, because it takes about 2 weeks for your body to start getting used to that eating habit. And I was on track, and then I just fucking chucked it out. I just had a bad day, and it was triggered, actually, by going to site. So I went to a site visit, and at dinner time, where I'd normally wouldn't eat a lot, in the evening, when I stopped eating at 5 o'clock, we stopped eating at 5 o'clock, and I actually met a colleague, and okay, wholeheartedly, I didn't have to do this, but I met a colleague, and, he's a really good fucking friend of mine as well, another good guy, and he sat down with us. We were staying at a local hotel because we were doing a site visit up there, and he met us, and that turned into 4 or 5 beers, and then that was what stopped it. And the next morning I woke up to a full English breakfast because I was in a hotel, and I was like, this is fucking great. And that just literally, that was on the Monday, just fucking cascaded into fucking hell for a week again. And then I got to Sunday, and I was like, fuck are you doing, mate? So that's where the discipline factor comes in. And I think that for me, it ties in nicely, actually, really nicely, with understanding your own. If you don't have discipline, And I talk about accountability as well. You need to be accountable for your own mental health. You need to be accountable for your actions. If you're not putting 110% or 100% in at least, if you're whatever you're putting into something, relationship or friendship, you need to be accountable for the fact that that's going to come back to you, possibly tenfold. So just be cautious. You need that accountability. You need to understand that whatever you put into life, you're going to get out of life. So if you're only putting the minimum in, you're only going to get the minimum out, and you're going to be perceived as somebody who's not very successful. If you put in 100%, fucking brilliant. And you will eventually, and this is where I had this conversation with my fucking mate tonight, and I was like, we were talking about the artwork, and it raised, and I was actually mentioned in my podcast, or the topic as I've spoken earlier on. It was kind of the rhetoric for our conversation, and I was just saying, I was really fucking disheartened. And he was like, it is pretty poor that a big company like that didn't even just send you a fucking return thank you. It was kind of like, even if it was just a holding email, I don't know. I mean, it's been fucking weeks and weeks, so I don't think anything's going to happen. So for me, that was the disheartening bit. We were talking, and I said, mate, I don't think I'm a bad guy. That's what I was saying. I was like, I said, all right, I've done some fucking crazy things in my life. I said, but I don't think I'm a bad guy. I'm trying to fucking succeed here. I just want to get what I think I've worked hard enough for. And he's like, mate, you joined the fucking civil service 2 years ago, mate, and you've gone up 3 ranks in 3 grades. I mean, what are you talking about? Some people don't get that in their whole fucking career, and you're pushing for the next level at 40. So, and I was like, and it is very easy to forget. And that's the discipline factor, I think. And that falls into accountability and discipline, because it's very easy. And that's ultimately why I mentioned at the start of the podcast about where I've come from and where you may have come from, where you might be in your journey. I guarantee it will be in a further place than if you're on the right path and you're looking at ways to better your life, or not develop your life. We don't like the word better. If you're looking at ways to develop your life in the boundaries of what you can achieve and realistically achieve and afford, whatever you put in at that level, you will get back out. And you will be accountable for that. If you're not putting in everything, don't expect things to fall on your plate. It's not going to fucking happen. So what you need to do is go the other way around. You need to say to yourself, I need a bit of discipline here. If you've fallen off the wagon, and you're back on and you're drinking or whatever you're doing, get back on. Have things in moderation. Don't take things away in life, but have things in moderation. Be disciplined to have it in that moderation. Like today, I came back. We finished playing snooker tonight at 7:00, and I'd had my last drink at about 10 to 7. Now I had 2 options there. I could have come. I came back and I opened the fridge and I went, should I have something to eat now? And my missus was like, well, when did you start fasting? I was like, 45 minutes ago. And she was like, oh, yeah. She was like, but just think, if you don't eat something now, you'll be able to eat earlier tomorrow. I was like, no, I'll be able to eat on time. This is me 45 minutes after I should have eaten, and I didn't eat because I went and played snooker and had a pint instead. So I sacrificed. I had a liquid lunch. We know we can't achieve anything on a liquid lunch, James. Luckily, I'd had a good dinner, so it didn't worry me too much. But at the same time, I had a choice, and my choice at the time was to eat. And then I looked at the fridge and I went, no, James, this is what happens. It starts off with it's now 7:45 instead of 7:00. You'll get pissy tomorrow at 11:45 when you've had to wait another 45 minutes, or you won't do it, and you'll finish your fast early and you won't have achieved it. So in anything, you've just starved yourself for a really short period of time because you haven't followed the process that works for you, and that is on the process in terms of the app that I use to guide me and everything else. So I had the discipline. So I shut that fucking fridge, and I have got. I've drank it, but that's a bottle of water, just a bottle of water. That's it. And that's the discipline factor. And I've even got on the app so Fridays and Saturdays I don't fast, and it's you're able to do that. So they're my enjoyable days. Just fucking Christ, that's more than most people get. So have the discipline, irrelevant of whether you fall off the track. And I've done it so many times. I still continue to do it. I find ways and different ways to try and caveat it or underpin the depression or the sadness. I wouldn't say depression, sadness, I would say, when I'm low and, weather's getting on top of me, family's getting on top of me, or I go quiet because of the things that have happened to me in the past, and that they consume me, because at the end of the day, they don't go away. I might be fucking happy today, but you don't know when that's going to crop up. It's mental fucking health. And because I haven't processed those traumas, and especially the thing that's with my daughter, that's raw. That's fucking there. It's still hanging over my head. I don't know what to do. So and that's a fucking. I know that is a ball of anger at the moment. I know it is, and it's kind of like, for me, that's the bit that I need to worry about. But that I don't know when that's going to crop up. I don't know when the sadness is going to shake through the house and everybody's going to feel it, or something's going to happen and we're all going to refer to something. So you don't know. It doesn't go away. But what we do, and this is the fucking positive, this is the discipline, this is the accountability. What we do is the right things to make sure that we're guided through, that we find our right paths. We've got the right people around us that want to see us succeed. They want to see us succeed. You know, all of my friends, all of my little close friends have all seen me succeed. They've all given me feedback. Billy is the only person that will sit there and tell me exactly as it is. And I don't say that as a negative against the others, but he will literally look at it from a completely different point of view. And I rely on that because that's a different point of view in life. And then I've got my, you know, I've got my other friends and families that you know, they listen to me and they give me the likes, the comments, the shares, to cascade this out, because this is the message. And I'm not. This isn't a satanic message. This is just letting you know that we all go through fucking things in life. But if we follow the right path, and we, such as coping mechanisms, meditation, mindfulness, exercise, eating healthy, drinking plenty of water, still socializing, you know, if we do all of these little things that we're very good at doing, and it's like riding a bike, all of those things we're used to doing, it's all about time management, accountability, discipline. These are all, if you were going to bullet point mental health, and I said you to fucking get a whiteboard now, and then write mental health at the top, put some bullet points. And the question was, how do you succeed in building better mental health? I would bullet point that. Accountability, so acknowledgement that you need to want to change, you need to want to get out of this rut, you want to succeed. Once you get that accountability, that's bosh, that's tick. Yep, tick that one. Next one. What's the next one? Discipline. What do you mean? Well, that means I want you to constantly look after yourself, continue to do something, find a good habit and do it for 3 months to make it a learned habit. Look after yourself, have indulgence, but do it in moderation. So discipline, absolutely imperative. And these are the words and that's how I would start on my whiteboard. And that's what we need to understand. You can't do it on your own. You can't succeed in life on your own. If you want to be siloed all day long and jump onto fucking YouTube and act like an absolute fucking bellend to get people that are looking at you thinking, I'm gonna basically, the way the algorithms work, the more views you get, you know, and the more content, the more people, the more money you get, etc., etc. But that doesn't always mean those views are for a positive. Those views are like, am I actually watching this on the internet? These are real people thinking that this is good stuff. But I've already locked into the views, so they've already got the money, so they already think they're succeeding. However, I look at it as Billy bonus. They are succeeding. They're winning. They're doing what they're doing and winning. Let them fucking do that. Fine. But that doesn't work for every single fucking person. So find the way that you want to work. But you can look at TikTok, social media, Instagram, fucking Facebook, whatever social media platform, Twitter. You can look at all of these and go, oh, that's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant because it's in the algorithm to put it in front of your face because that's what you want to see, because it's based on what you constantly search for or what you constantly talk about, because they're fucking listening to you in that sense. And I don't mean in a sneaky beaky way. We all know. If you say something in a room, you're getting the adverts later on your fucking phone. And you're like, what the fuck? It's because that's what it's designed to do. So you need to make sure that you're not just hearing and seeing the wrong things and the right things. Look after yourself. Anyway, I'm going to stop fucking talking because I have literally chewed your ears off tonight. I know, boxing away on your fucking eardrums. But yes, discipline, please. Discipline is, and all these are key words on you. They are all key words on you. You need to be able to do them and constantly do them. and make an active, conscious decision. You wouldn't keep doing something if you wouldn't go into work and keep getting fucking bullied without going. I mean, there is people to an extent, but nowadays we don't put up with that. We don't put up with that. We go in, we notify people. We're more inclusive. We're more outspoken. You know, we're trying. We're reducing all these problems and these problematic phases that go on in work. We're trying our hardest. But you need to be able to succeed in life, find the right people, work on the right path, and hold the accountability and the discipline yourself. Do those things for 3 months, get them as a learned habit, push aside all the toxicity. So if you notice you pulled someone into your life that's a friend and you go, oh yeah, he's fucking brilliant, and he turns out actually he wasn't, well then just remove. Go. No fucking hell. You know, you don't drag me down because you're constantly looking after yourself. Life is a constant assessment. It really is. You can't just bury your head in the sand and hope that when you pull it out like an ostrich, you're fucking good to go. Everything around you're in the savannah, fucking having a good time. That's not going to happen. Life is constantly. You're constantly getting chucked fucking curveballs. Am I going to be made redundant tomorrow? Is my TV not going to work tomorrow? Is my fucking Hoover not going to work tomorrow? Are my kids going to shout at me tomorrow? Is something going to happen? Are they going to do something stupid that's going to fucking bring the police to my door? Are they going to be a victim and they're going to bring the police? You don't know. Is my wife going to leave me tomorrow? You don't know. These are all fucking questions that might just pop up tomorrow. You might go to the doctors and you go, fucking hell. Okay, I've got fucking cancer. Like, you know, that hurt, that I felt that with my dad. Just came out of the fucking blue. Like, it was a Tuesday morning. I remember it. And I was like, what does that mean? I knew what it fucking meant, but my mind went blank. It was a curveball I didn't expect. And I've got friends, loved ones, and I say friends that I love, as in I've got very close friends that have lost mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, whatever. All of them. Whatever. Life chucks you curveballs. So please do the right things. Instill the right things to make your life happy. Get rid of the toxic areas. Start looking inwardly at yourself. Are you a problem? Why are you a problem? I'm not happy. I'm a little bit overweight. Okay, well, you're going to carry on being overweight if you don't fucking eat healthy and do a bit of exercise. Find something that you enjoy to do that. If you're happy to stay the way you are, then really that's not the thing that's making you unhappy. If you're like, I want to do, that's not the thing that's making you unhappy. Then there must be something else that's making you unhappy, and you're shelling it with the, you know, you're sort of encasing it. That's the word I'm looking for. You're encasing it in, oh, I'm not happy because I'm overweight. No, I don't think that is. You're overweight because you're overeating. You're overeating because something's making you sad, whether that's something at work, relationship, family, whatever, loved ones, friends. There's something that's affecting you. And what we don't do is, it's very easy to blame the thing we look at in the mirror. Very easy to blame that. But in actual fact, it might be something completely different. You might be going in. I've been in the civil service now for 2 years, and I've already helped fucking 4 people who have been almost victims of bullying. And that's a high statistic, really, when you think about it. One person in fucking in 2 jobs, and that's the reality of it. Is that is the life? It's just, you get curveballs left, right, centre. But I'm a helpful person because I don't want to see people sad. So I make their life better. That makes my life better. All of these things are positives, okay? But hold the accountability. Inwardly look, am I an arsehole because of my personality? No, there might be something else behind it. Look inwardly. Always look inwardly first. I did that 1.5 years ago, and look where I am now. Talking to you, 200 deep. I'm fucking elbow deep in fucking podcasts. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me. I love your beautiful, like I said, welcome Mark to the family. I really appreciate your feedback, as well as I do my amazing close friends. I mention them all the time because I think they're worthy of being mentioned. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to talk about my friends in such a high regard, because they're the right people in my life and they make me happy, and that's a really important bit. They're not willing, you know, they don't judge me. They don't, they understand me, and I am a very complex, simple but complex. If that's double-edged sword, I know, get that. But thank you to everybody. I think, and thank you for listening. I do appreciate all of you, everybody that's listening. You're all part of my family, and hopefully I'm helping you succeed. I've been getting some great views from all around the world, which is like really impressive, and I welcome all of you actually, because you all mean a lot to me. The fact that you're listening to me, it means I'm reaching people, and hopefully I'm making your lives better in understanding that, irrelevant of where you are located in this world, you could be feeling bad shit. I mean, in fact, I've got this. I'm going to share this with you, and this was going to be a talking point. This is why I brought it on. This was from Mark. He sent me this because he was walking around in where's he put? So US based. So he was walking around in LA when he started his 10K. He was doing some bits, and on a bench it says, and I quote this directly. It's got a number that can change, but it's 63 people a day die by gun suicide. So that's in America right now. Right now, that's 63 people a day die by gun suicide. That is just a crazy, and they to the point where they highlight it on their benches. So it's like free advertising. But that's another. I mean, it's a crazy statistic anyway. And I know that Americans they have their gun problems, rightly so. And there's a lot of controversy. I'm not going to get into that as a topic for me. However, the suicide bit is the bit that I'm talking about. Irrelevant of where you are in the country, we all suffer. We all come from different walks of life, different areas, with our own inherent problems. There might be people, like I said, that are listening to this in America that are in the sticks and fucking can't afford to put food on the table. I know they're struggling just as much as us. I've got people in Africa, for God's sake, that they're listening, and I know they've got their own problems. So we all have these problems, but if we all instill the right things and draw ourselves back and loosen our expectations on what we want out of life, because we're not all, and the reason I say it's, we're not all going to be fucking millionaires. It's not going to happen. So let's set our goals on achievable targets and work with a close bunch of friends to make those targets achievable. Let's do it together so we can all fucking say cheers at the end, smoke a fucking stogie, and play a bit of poker. That's what it's all about. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. Take care of yourself. Keep yourself healthy. Healthy mind, healthy heart, healthy body. Look after yourself and spread that positivity, please. I really appreciate you if you would. So thank you very much, and take care of yourself.